Yes, people, and welcome back to another episode of the Ghostoul Podcast. This week we have a live guest. Yes, this gentleman is somebody that I've known for quite a while now. I've been to his location. Wink, wink. Do you know who it is yet? Such an amazing place to visit and to experience. So I'll just bring him out. We have Neil from the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre.
Hello.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Oh, I'm not too bad, thanks.
Good, good. So, welcome along. Thank you so much for joining me this evening.
You're welcome.
Hope you are well.
Not too bad. It's been a bit of a rough year this year, but I think it's been rough for lots of people this year.
Yeah, I don't think this year has treated a lot of people very well, to be fair.
I think we all thought once COVID was over, things would sort of get better. But for me personally, and for a lot of people, they haven't. But we'll soldier on.
We got no choice, really, have we? That's the thing. But yeah. So, again, welcome. If you could let the people know that maybe don't know who you are, if you just give us a little rundown of who you are and what you do, that'd be awesome.
Okay, I'm Neil Packer. I own the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre in Hinckley. I also own the Ghost Planet Network, which is a TV channel on Roku TV and on all mobile devices. And I organise the annual paranormal convention called Parameet. So that's the main things that I do.
I bet that takes a lot of your time up.
There's a lot of work behind the scenes, I must admit. You know, the Parameet especially, that takes a lot of hard work to organise. But I'm very lucky. I've got a good team around me, and my wife is a good support as well. So I'm very lucky, really.
That's what you can ask for, really. Obviously, the paranormal is a strange subject anyway. Yeah. And some people laugh at it. Some people are really interested in it. But it's good to have support because it does take a lot of your time. A lot of time out of your day-to-day stuff. So it's good that you have support, from family and your team at the museum. Yeah,
and unfortunately, the centre is my job. So, it's not like I have to go work for 8 hours a day. Although I am actually looking for a part-time job, just to top up my money before I retire in just over 12 months' time, which I'm very excited about. So yeah, it's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, and some people don't realise, especially the Parameet, what it takes to put that on. And next year we're doing 2. Both in Hinckley, so that makes it easier for us. But one's a 3-day next year, and one's a 2-day next year. Plus, we're having a Christmas party. So again, a lot of organising and a lot of tickets to sell.
Yeah, I can imagine. Obviously, I've been to one of the Parameets, and I thought it was such a refreshing thing. I'd never been to one before. Over all the years I've been there, I've never been to one.
Yeah.
And when I came to the South one, it was such a refreshing change, such positivity, and everybody there for the same reason. Some people meeting for the first time, obviously friends on social media, but never actually met in person.
That's right.
So again, for me, that was a plus, a positive, and just listen to the different aspects of the paranormal from your guest speakers. I just thought it was brilliant, and I really came away from that weekend really enjoying it, and it was such an awesome thing.
Good. Yeah, that's the whole idea behind Parameet. It's called Parameet for a reason. It's where people can meet up.
Yeah.
The original idea wasn't actually mine. It was a friend of mine, and we started off holding the Parameets at the centre once a month, just so small teams can come up, meet and meet. Because the small teams got no chance of getting to a lot of the locations nowadays, have they? Because the prices have shot up. So if different teams can meet up, get on, and join together, they can perhaps afford the much bigger locations that everyone wants to investigate, like Warwick Castle and Gallows of Justice and that sort of thing. Small teams obviously can't get in there. But
No.
a few years ago, we decided to make it bigger, and so we've been doing it 3 years now. So next year will be the fourth year of doing the big parameet. We tend to have I like to have a core of speakers, that I invite every year because, to me, they are the best UK speakers. So, if you've got a winning formula, why change it?
Exactly.
So, and then I just bring in some other speakers as well. In May next year, we've got 18 guest speakers for the 3 days event.
Yeah.
So that's going to be amazing. It's going to be hard work.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
For us, because we're and we've got the GPN Awards again next May, and we've got a fancy dress karaoke on the Sunday night in May, so that'll be hilarious.
So over the years of doing Parameet, has that changed? Have you seen it change?
Yeah, it evolves. Yeah, because you learn. The first one, there was I made a lot of mistakes. Well, not a lot. I made some mistakes or things that I think we could have done better.
Yeah.
And each time we listen to what people say, and we take on board what everyone says. And if I think it's a good idea, I will do. For example, next year we're having the picture board behind somewhere people can take photos with them with the speakers, that sort of thing. So
I've seen that. Yeah.
So we're having a sponsorship board, and that was suggested to me by Andy Saw, Haunted Magazine, actually. So, and Kate Sherrill suggested about a selfie area. Yeah. So we're doing that next year. So we're inviting people to sponsor the board for 25 quid, and they can have their name up on the board. So that's something else we're introducing next year. So we will keep adapting. One of my biggest problems in life, I get bored very easy.
Yeah.
So if things are the same for too long, I get bored of them.
Yeah.
For example, there's like the centre, I've had it over 6 years now, but it keeps changing. Otherwise, I would be bored with it, But that's just the work person I am, At home, if Julie goes out for the day, she can come back and the lounge is all changed.
Surprise!
She goes to sit on the chair. The chair's not there anymore. But that's how I am in life, anyways. I do get bored quite easily, actually. So I need to keep changing things.
So what got you into the paranormal in the first place? What sparked the interest?
Well, initially I was a teenager and I saw a ghost.
Okay.
So that was a little bit of interest, but then of course Most Haunted came along. Like a lot of people in the UK got into ghost hunting because of Most Haunted.
Me, yeah.
We all know what it's like now, but that's got nothing to do with it. When it first started, I think it was groundbreaking. It was good, and I do think it was real at the start. But you can have your own opinion now. I don't watch it now. But that sort of said to people, yeah, you can go to these potentially haunted locations and investigate. So it was Most Haunted, like with most of us, I think. If you're honest with yourself, it would be Most Haunted.
Oh yeah, I hadn't really heard. You only see the horror films, and none of it was ever about paranormal investigation back in the day. And then Most Haunted come along, like you said, and I used to watch it with my mum and dad, and I was like, wow, look at that. That's well cool. Like, they've got voices, they've got footsteps and bangs.
Yeah.
So houses, and then Derek was there, and it's like, wow, it was just all together. Everything was brilliant. The first few series, like you said, and it did spark a lot of people.
I think the first 3 series were really good. I enjoyed the live ones, because I didn't think they could set them up as much. With recorded shows, there's a lot of editing going on, so you can take a clip from there and put it in there, even though it wasn't there, it was somewhere else, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I do like watching live things because you're there
That,
with them.
it's like an event, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like when, like I said, Most Haunted Live was on. Used to get there. It was always a couple of days, and you get like your popcorn or your snacks, and
That's right.
and you'd sit there, and it'd be like, "Oh, let's go! This is going to be brilliant." And
Yeah,
I think it just flows better.
yeah, I used to have the laptop on as well. So I was watching on the TV and the laptops because they had the webcams on, didn't they?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I was watching both, and it was brilliant. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, don't matter what you say about it nowadays. It was legendary at the beginning, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And
Yeah.
you've got to give credit where credit's due. Um,
Yeah.
but it's like a lot of shows. They sort of, I think the production companies had too much say in it. You know, they had to have something happen at every episode, otherwise it's not entertainment.
Yeah.
But well, people watching now, you know, Mickey, you can go to a haunted location, sit all night, freezing cold, and get absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But that's the way it goes.
Exactly. And then you're going to do it again next week, and then the week after, because it's your passion, it's your love, and there's always the hope that something might happen. You might capture something.
That's right.
So,
It is it's a bit like a drug, isn't it?
very much so, and
Once
it's healthy as well.
oh yeah, once the paranormal's got you, it's got you, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. I think if you're genuine about it, there are people that turn up for a little bit and disappear again. But I think once you're hooked, once you're inside the field, as it were, it's you don't tend to leave unless it's for like personal reasons normally.
That's right.
But so we got some guests in the building tonight. We have Falco, Portal to the Paranormal, Alehouse Haunts, obviously Lorian, and Mr. Kev Kerr himself. So,
hi guys.
So yes, thank you so much for joining us so far.
Well,
So Neil,
Kev Kerr is one of the speakers at the next Parameet.
is he really? Oh, that's
Yes.
good. Kevin, to be fair, I'll be totally honest here. When I went to the South one, I hadn't really heard of Kev. No offense to Kev. You know, I love Kev. He's brilliant. But watching his talk on how the body reacts to spirit interaction and what we think is spirits blew my mind. Totally made me look at the paranormal in a different way. And obviously that's why you get these different guest speakers on that have different opinions about the paranormal.
Yeah.
And it's just, you know, a big thumbs up for me from the sort of people you have on your parameets.
Yeah, well, they make the Parameet, don't they? The guest speakers make the Parameet, and I think, to be honest, the ones next year are the best because we've got so many. Now there's 18 in the May one and 12 for the September one, so we've got an awful lot of guest speakers next year. Yeah.
Are they all different sort of ranges of paranormal?
We've got the regulars like Paul Goddard, Kate Sherrill, Kate Ray. I'm going to forget them all now, aren't I? And we got the regulars, but then we throw others in like Caroline McKendrick's coming in next year. We've got Ben Walgate from the 401 Files on YouTube. He's doing a talk in May. Kev's doing a talk as well. In September we've got new ones and more new ones as well. So you put me on the spot now. I can't think.
Don't mention any more because you have to start listing all of them.
So we've got it is a wide range, which is good, which is always good.
Yeah.
Some controversial ones, if you want to say that controversial. Some that make you think, like Kev. It makes you think.
Yeah.
And that's what I want.
Well, one of the ones that did surprise me was Liz Cormel. When she started talking about fairies and all that, and I thought, really? Like before, watched the talk, I thought, oh, okay, maybe fairies, really.
Yeah.
So I sat there watching it, and I've had her on the show and loved it, absolutely loved it. I was like, wow, like everything she spoke about, it sort of made sense.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known really, or really got involved with trying to listen to what she was saying if I hadn't been at Parameet.
Yeah, that's good then. Well, Liz is a regular.
Exactly, yeah.
Liz is back in May as well. Liz is brilliant. And Kate Ray talks about fairies as the fae as well. So
and the gnomes and that, yeah.
Yeah, and Liz in Parameet South this year, she didn't know she was doing a talk until 10 minutes. I think it was about 10 minutes before she went and did the talk.
Yeah, she did really well. Last minute, go and get on stage.
Yeah, just blag it. Just blag it. If you got nothing prepared, just blag it like I always do.
Well, I enjoyed it. I thought it was brilliant. So
it was. Richard Felix, his car broke down on the way.
Oh no!
So Richard Felix should have been talking. And somebody said to me after Liz spoke, she says, I was really looking forward to Richard Felix, but to be honest, I'm glad I listened to Liz now. So it was fantastic.
Yeah, things were meant to be.
Yeah, of course they were. And it opened your eyes.
It did, yeah, it did. I speak to Liz quite a lot now, and it's brilliant. So I thank you, Neil. Thank you for that.
Yeah, good.
So, if we could talk a little about your building, the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre, what made you get involved with that, and how did that come about?
Yeah, okay. I used to co-own a venue group, so we took guests around the country, but I got pretty bored with that. Like I said earlier, I get bored very quick. It wasn't something I wanted to do.
No.
I didn't want to babysit people or trying to entertain people in a haunted location. So I said I told the co-owner I was leaving, and I wanted to stay in the paranormal. So I thought haunted objects, that was something different.
Yeah.
So I wrote an email to local antique dealers asking them if I could investigate their shops. Only one replied, and that was Phil at Sims Vintage Antique Centre in Wootton Warren. We investigated it, and we had a great night. And that sort of sparked me into actually getting my own haunted objects. So I did start in my I've got a carport room, so my collection started in the carport room, and I used to do a live feed every week from there, and we did some work ourselves.
Yeah.
But we were having activity in the house, and Julie, my wife, got a bit scared some nights, seeing a shadow at the end of the bed and that sort of thing. So she said, either the objects go or she goes. So I said, okay. So I said, I'll try and find somewhere in Incley to house these objects, and I found Regent Street. So I started collecting them from then. So people now send me, they tend to be haunted dolls. A lot of them aren't haunted dolls, but they just watch the Hollywood films and they think it's the haunted doll. That sort of thing. So what we do now, we'll go to some antique centres, and if Jane says, that object, Jane is the medium of the centre. If Jane says that object is interesting, if I can afford to buy it, I'll buy it and bring it back to the centre so we can do some work on it. We've got hundreds of potentially haunted objects now. So
how long have you had this building for then in Regent Street?
It'll be 7 years in February. We've had the centre, so it's been quite a while. So, and we have paranormal teams in every weekend.
Yeah.
And plus we do our own work, which is really interesting for me personally, because I enjoy doing the work that we do. Some people don't like some of the things that we do, but that's up to them. We enjoy it.
Exactly, it's your building. You're in charge. If you don't like it, don't go. It's quite simple. But I've been to a séance there. An evening of séance.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
It was a good one. And Jane said, there's a half creature that follows you round. And I'm like, what? Cheers, Jade.
And she never met you before, had she?
Not at that time. No, that was
No,
before the Paramedic.
that was
Yeah,
before Paramedic South.
and she was describing objects that my dad has that I didn't even know he had. And I
Yeah,
came home and spoke to him about it. It was like an old, thin, long sword that he'd
yeah,
been given when he was a gas man in someone's house many,
yeah.
many years ago when I was a little kid. And also some little binoculars with a flip case. And
Yeah.
I didn't know about that either. He had them from his dad. And it's like, how did Jane know this? You know, she could have picked anything,
Mm.
but no, she didn't. She described two things that my dad actually had and could show me when I asked him.
Mm. That was
And
amazing, wasn't it?
and it was like, wow. I was lost for words on that, to be fair. But
Yeah.
it just shows how good Jane is, I suppose, doesn't it?
Jane is obviously she's an amazing medium. She comes up with crazy ideas like I do as well, which is always good. Jane and I have been working together in the paranormal field for knocking on 15 years probably now. So
Yeah.
we work well together. Jane can talk to the spirits, and she'll ask the spirits what piece of equipment to use. We don't use a lot of equipment
No.
ourselves, but Jane will say, "Oh, they're saying get the FLIR camera out," for example. So we get the FLIR camera out and we catch a face in the FLIR camera, or she'll say, "They're saying use your dad's in Rosneil," so we do that, and that's how Jane and I work. She asks the spirits how they can communicate with us that we can physically see. So we work really well together, and the centre wouldn't be the centre without Jane's input. Anyway,
No, it does show that when you have a good connection with someone, and it shows in the work that you do,
yeah.
and clearly you and Jane, it clicks.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
working.
It has done for many, many years.
Yeah.
To be honest, Jane's first ghost hunt was the same as my first ghost hunt.
Oh wow.
So we met on both of our first ghost hunts.
Oh,
So
where was that?
That was at Hinkley Museum, which is the old museum in Hinkley. So that was our
Okay.
first experience of ghost hunting, as it was called.
And you never look back.
No, we've moved forward, and we do some fantastic work.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's nice to see people working together in the paranormal because there's always negativity, and it's good when the good comes out and everyone can see that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we think alike. We want to question everything.
Yeah, best way to do.
Everything. All for hundreds of years, that people have been saying about Ouija boards, for example. You have to open them up. You have to close them, and all this. And we think, why? Who said you have to close a Ouija board? Ouija
Yeah.
board is normally a bit of cardboard with letters and numbers on. Nothing special.
No.
So we've got Ouija boards at the centre, but we never close them down. And we have had one team insisted that we take all our Ouija boards out before they go upstairs.
Nope.
And I'm thinking, well, you're not investigating really, then, are you? Because
No.
we just think a Ouija board is just same as a pendulum, or same as a spirit box, or same as whatever you use.
Yeah, it's just a form of communication. Yeah. But so, just staying with the museum, is there a haunted object, the famous ones, or anywhere that you would like to put in your museum?
Well, I would love to have them all. People have asked me this many times.
Sorry.
They've asked me if I'd want the Annabelle doll from the Conjuring films.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I'd love to, but it wouldn't be behind glass.
Yeah, pick it
I
up.
don't see the point.
No.
Or Robert the doll, it wouldn't be behind. Perhaps it would for the guests if they don't want it to be open, but we would do work with it not in glass, because we do a series on GPN called Demon Connections,
Yeah.
where Jane invites a different demon every episode. So we work with demons. So the Conjuring, the Annabelle doll is, to be honest, it's not it's not haunted by a demon as far as I'm concerned. That's just Hollywood to me.
But it's said that demons cannot possess inanimate objects. It needs to be a living. So why would it possess a Raggedy Ann doll?
Yeah, it's just a Raggedy Ann doll. We've got one exactly the same at the centre.
Yeah, a massive one, isn't it?
He's a big doll. But whenever people see it's Robert the doll, ours is.
Yeah.
Whenever people see that, oh, is that the Annabelle doll? I says it's exactly the same as the Annabelle, the Conjuring doll, but ours has actually got something attached to it. So I don't know. I would prepare to have any objects. Nothing scares us.
No.
At all. So I think it'd be quite fun working with it, to be honest.
Definitely. I mean, I love Robert the doll. I would love to go and visit Robert the doll in Florida.
Yeah. But with Robert the doll in Florida, that doll does look sort of creepy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The Annabelle doll is just a Raggedy Ann doll, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy about it, nothing special.
Annabelle looks like if you picked her up, she'd be fine, but Robert looks like he'd fall apart if you held him for too long or were too firm with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's why it's behind glass.
Yeah.
But yeah, you mentioned the demons there.
Yeah.
When I was last investigating your building, you did tell us that. How often do you try and communicate with the demons? Because you've got a chart on the wall, haven't you? Who you contacted or tried to make contact with?
Yeah. Like I said, we do a series called Demon Connections where Jane invites a different demon. Because we're told what demons are by the church and Hollywood.
Yes.
Don't mess with these demons. So when we first started, Jane suggested doing this series. I said, yeah, okay then. But what we'll do is we'll just do it with me and Jane. I didn't want, just in case, I didn't know what we were messing with. So I didn't want to put Amy and Ant into any sort of harm. So Jane and I did the first one, just the two of us. And it was a fantastic night. And it was actually Valak, the first one, the demon from the Conjuring film.
Of the snakes, yeah.
It's nothing like it, and we've done about 40 now. We're working through the Lesser Key of Solomon, so the 72.
Oh, wow.
And so then we brought Amy and Ant in. So it's normally the four of us, but obviously if one of them can't make it, as long as myself and Jane are there, we will do it. If Amy and Ant can make it, they'll come in. Julie, my wife, is taking part in a couple as well.
Okay.
But to be honest, we've not come across a bad one yet. They've been very helpful. They've answered the questions. They give us enough information that they want to give us. Then they'll say, if I ask a question that we're not ready to know the answer to, they'll say we've got to learn more yet. So it's like we go so far, and then they sort of they give us a bit more. So we have to reach a different level, and then we reach another level, and then tell us more. And then we reach another level, tell us more. And in my opinion, the word demon is just a label anyway. The church created that, I'd imagine. But I think you have to take religion out of the paranormal anyway.
Very much so.
Because how many evil black monks are there?
None.
So the demons, to me, the demons is just a name, just a label, but they're just ancient beings. The best one that we've ever did was I had this idea for Jane to put me in a meditative state, and let me go off wherever I'm going to go in this meditative state, which she did. And then she invited the demon, I can't remember his name, then she invited the demon to come and invited the demon to go to where I was in my meditative state and let me write down what he was telling me and what he was what images he was showing me.
Wow.
I had really good noise ear defenders on, so I couldn't
Yeah.
hear a word. Plus, I was sort of in meditation state,
Yeah.
and the information that he gave me, the pictures that he drew through me, and the writing that he did through me was amazing. It really was amazing, and that is, I think that is on GPN. If people want to watch it, they can watch it. So that is the best thing I've ever done personally, even though I was in a meditation state, so I didn't know what was happening at the time.
Yeah.
Um, so at the minute, at this point in time, the most important work that I do is the demon connections. Obviously, Jane's in Exeter at the minute, so they've been on hold for a bit. So but we will get cracking on them next year as well again.
So they always say that demons are scary and evil, and they'll do horrible things to you. But like you
No.
say, they're telling you, saying, no, you're not ready. You take some time, do some more research and learn. For me,
Yeah.
that's doesn't sound very evil.
They're not honestly they're not. People have said, how do I know it's actually a demon or that we're
Yeah.
talking to? And Jane knows it's, she describes what the demon looks like, and
Okay.
whether he's just a ball of energy going around the room or whatever. And we've always felt so at ease doing it. It's really eye-opener. If people watch the Demon Connections and expecting us to be crawling across the ceiling and mushy peas being coming out of a mouth or something, you're going to be bored, because it's not exciting, but it's educational. Now, some of these demons, one of these demons wanted to teach mankind mathematics, but he was demonized for it. One wanted to teach mankind about astrology. He was demonized for it. Why is that bad?
Yeah.
Now, I've got my own theories about God and Satan, but that's perhaps for another time.
But yeah, they always say that Satan just had a different opinion on what God had.
Yeah.
So that's why he was banished, because he didn't
Yes.
agree with, the Almighty, as it were.
Yeah, basically, Satan wants to give mankind free will. I believe mankind was created a slave race. And these two, there's Enlil and Enki. Enlil is turned into God. Enki is turned into Satan. Enki wants to give mankind free will, but God said no. They'll pray to me. They'll do as I say. So who's the good guy?
Well, you look at it that way, maybe we need to change that.
Well, I personally, that's what I think. That's what Demon Connections are doing, and
That's good.
they are fascinating.
So you mentioned GPN. For
Yep.
people that don't know, could you just let us know, or let them know, what GPN is?
Yeah, GPN is Ghost Planet Network. It's a TV channel on Roku TV, and it's available on all mobile devices now through the website, which is www.ghostplanetnetwork.com. And we put our work on there, and we have other people like Mickey. When I
Yep.
can, I'll put videos on for Mickey, and we've got 30 odd different content creators on there now. But YouTube's been a bit of a pain in the backside, because I normally just grab Mickey's video and drag it in.
Yeah.
But YouTube's not allowing me to now, so I have to go round the Reeking. So I am going to start. I need to a conversation with all the content creators that go on. So people will be having to send their content to me via Google Drive, which will make it easier for me.
Yeah.
We get West London Paranormal, who you work with as well,
Yeah,
Mickey.
Mark and Rich. Yeah.
So we've got lots of different things. We have podcasts on there. We have investigations on there, and we put our shows on there. It's a little bit like YouTube. Obviously, not nowhere near as big, but it's only paranormal content that goes on there.
Yeah.
And good thing for me is I get to watch every single thing that I put on there. And if I don't like what people are doing, I won't put it on there.
Fair enough.
Because I want it to be honest.
Yeah.
If someone's blatantly faking things, I ain't going to put it on there, because YouTube is I think YouTube's saturated anyway with paranormal content,
Very
and
much so. Yeah.
I think a lot of the big boys have got big because they make it exciting and but they fake a lot of stuff,
Yes.
blatantly fake a lot of stuff, but people buy into it.
I think the naive people buy into
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
very much so.
I think the way I describe GPN, Ghost Planet Network, is it's for paranormal investigators and the general public. Now, I think YouTube is just for the general public who don't really know investigating, really.
No.
So I only put genuine stuff on there, and I like it because everyone investigates slightly different.
Yeah. So can
That's
anybody send you content and say, look, Neil, I've got this channel on YouTube. Is it easy
yeah,
for someone just to say, yep, can I sign up,
yeah,
as it were?
yeah.
I'll send you content.
If anybody wants to contact me, just email me, or contact me through Facebook and say, look, I'm interested in putting my content on GPN. Here's an example. And if I think, yeah, it's good stuff, I will more than happy to put it on because I want it to keep growing. You know, it's 1.5 years old now, Ghost Planet Network, so I want it to keep growing.
It's gone
and
quick.
it's free. The good thing, yeah, it has gone quick. The good thing is it's free. There's no subscriptions to pay. There's no adverts on there. The way I'm going to fund it is through the T-shirt range, which I've just announced today. So that's the T-shirt. The selling of the T-shirts and the merchandise is what's going to fund Ghost Planet Network.
Yeah, we can talk about that if you want. Your T-shirt range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far I've got about 23, 24 different designs of paranormal related T-shirts. You know, it's just a black T-shirt with a different design on, and there's about just over 20 designs so far. I've got a load more to put on. It's just T-shirts at the minute, but it will go into hoodies as well, and I've got some caps with different designs on. So that's going to keep growing. I just want people to buy them, and that will fund Ghost Planet Network because it's not cheap to have a TV channel. But it is a passion of mine. You know, I just want people to see real investigations.
No, it's a good way of doing it. Like you say, there's no adverts. You know, it's on TV. I know a lot of smart tellies have YouTube now on their, or accessible to YouTube. But then if they don't have a smart telly, all they need is a USB or HDMI thing. Because I bought a Roku.
It's a little box about 2 inches. It just connects to the TV HDMI. It's a little bit like the Fire Stick.
Yes, mine hangs from the back. Yeah,
but it's better. Amazon was a lot more expensive to get content on, so that's why I chose Roku. It was a lot cheaper.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. Yeah,
it's a crazy price to put stuff on. But you can also watch on your mobile phone or your computer anyway. So, but you can get on TV through Roku.
That's good. So everybody go get a Roku stick.
Yeah.
Go watch GPN.
Yeah, it is good. And next year I've got even more plans. So there's going to be even more content next year. Like I said at the start of the show, I've had a bit of a bad year. You know, my mum passed away about 8 weeks ago. So the 12 months before that, prior to that, I was her carer. So it's been a bit slow this year, but I'll be full steam ahead next year.
Well, sometimes life gets in the way of things, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You know, priorities overtake your hobbies and job.
Yeah, my mum was priority. I wanted to make her as comfortable as I could.
Yeah, definitely. So just staying with the museum again, do you have a favourite item that's in there?
I've got a few actually for different reasons.
Okay.
One is the big mirror, the big arched mirror in the attic room that you know, Mickey.
Yeah.
That is a portal. It goes to wherever. We've had some amazing stuff coming out of there, and Jane has actually astral projected into it. so we know what's the other side of it. So that's interesting. Again, that's on GPN. And I like Bob's Clown. It's not a popular item, but it's one of my favourites because it's just a little clown who's got his boy. He was a boy's clown. He's about 7 or 8, I think he was, when he passed. He had a sad life, but he's happy now. So
that's good.
That's a nice. I've always said if the centre actually closed for any reason, I will bring Bob's Clown back home anyway because I've got this connection with Bob. He's a lovely little lad, and it's sad because he had a sad life. You know, he was got physical disabilities, and he ended up in a care home, and he was bullied and all this. Not too many years ago, you know, just before in the 50s. This was, I think.
Okay. Yeah.
So, we have researched him, so we have found out he is a real boy, and we've found out where he lived and the care home he was in, and he passed away in, and also so that's really nice because we know everything about him. You know, even though he's told us things, we've actually confirmed it through research as well. So that's even better to me.
It's amazing when you can actually make the real connection with a haunting story, you know, and the fact that you found out where he came from and where he spent his life. That's amazing because that to me that just gives pure credibility to the story and the haunting.
It does, and he's to me personally, it's a special item. And he comes down my house. I know he does. Sometimes me and Julie can hear him running up the stairs, or he'll put the tap on in the kitchen, sort of thing.
Yeah,
he has been known to turn the TV over as well. Little monkey him.
He wants to watch his programs.
Well, I remember one day I was sitting watching the cricket. I know cricket's not to everybody's taste. Next thing I know, the cartoons. It turned over to the cartoons.
Wow.
I thought
that's crazy.
You little monkey, turn it back. So nice. he's a lovely little lad. So and he's told he had a sad life, but he's happy now. And I think, you know, it sort of gets you in your heart. That does.
He's happy in your building.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. That's very heartwarming.
Yeah. Have you got any others that are particular favourites?
You know, I like the World War II wheelchair. That's a good item.
Yeah.
In the war room. The Annabelle doll. No, sorry, the Hannah doll. That's quite an interesting.
On the little
item.
trike.
Yes.
Yes, I love that one. That's brilliant.
Yeah. She's like Marmite. You either love her or hate her. I've known grown men to go into the doll room and just go straight to her and pick her up, and they want to carry this doll around the room all the time. And you think, you're a grown man. He says, and they'll say, I don't know why. I've just got to pick them up. But that's the Anna doll's quite a special item.
Yeah, I like Paul.
Ventriloquist dummy.
Yeah. He moves off the chair and.
You had some dealings with him, haven't you?
Yes, a few times. Yeah. But one of my favourite rooms is, like you said, the attic room. I actually hired your building for my birthday, I think last year in 23, in September. And it was just me and Mark from West London Paranormal. And we spent time in the attic room. And we were doing the Estes method. So the blindfold and the headphones, etc., through the spirit box. And we had a name George come through, which at the time didn't mean nothing really to me. It was just our name, you know, we're asking for names, etc.
Yeah.
And then I felt something like on my throat, and it really startled me. So I thought, whoa, what's going on? Like we stopped it for a bit, and I thought, well, we'll carry on. So then we put it back on again, carried on asking questions, etc. And Mark was asking questions, and I was giving him answers like, "Oh, I'm coming," like down the corridor, sort of thing. And then I felt it again, and as I was taking it off, on the spirit box it says "hands on me." Yeah. So it was basically saying, "I'm strangling you, and I'm telling you I'm doing it." I've never ever experienced anything like that in my life. And then I think we came down to speak to you, and I think Ames was there as well. Yeah. And she said, George has got a bag up there, and he was
Doctor's bag.
the police surgeon for Jack the Ripper's victims, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I googled him. He's a real person. It's like, wow.
Yeah, George Baxter Phillips.
Yes, him. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that night will always be in my memories for such a crazy time. And
I remember the video.
that room in particular,
Yeah.
it was crazy, absolutely. But that room is very active. Let me just say, whether it's because you bring demons into it or what, I have no idea. But you've done well on that room. It is so active.
Yeah, well, if we get any objects with remotely negative energy attached to it, they go in that room. We've got items from Boleskine House, Aleister Crowley's
Crowley,
house
yeah.
there, and we got death masks, and we got the Doctor's bag, and we got the portal mirror in there, and so we are going to eventually next year we are going to start working with Baphomet. You remember the seance that you came to?
Yes, yeah.
We are going to get around to doing work with Baphomet as well. So we've got sort of a little bit of an altar for Baphomet in there now.
Okay. Yeah, he's one of the famous ones, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a theory on who he actually is. So we're going to test my theory.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to doing that. And during the seance, he says we need some different objects there within. Okay. So I've got them in there with him now. So he's just waiting for me to invite him.
Do you ever sometimes think, oh, maybe we shouldn't be doing this? Maybe we'll push it too far?
No. I really don't. Because, for example, with Ouija boards, we think it's down to your intent. Yes. I say to people when we have guests up there, if you only invite positive spirits or family members to you on a Ouija board, that's all is going to come to the board. So I had this idea once that we were going to do a Ouija session, but we were only going to invite negative spirits in to the board. Of course, Jane, Amy, and Anne, they're always up for it anyway. Yeah. So that's what we did, and actually, death came. The Grim Reaper. He came.
Okay.
He showed himself to Jane as this normal figure, skeletal figure with this cloak on and all this. Yeah. And I said to Jane, are we pushing it too far now? He says, no, because she's not feeling anything really bad about him. He's not come for anybody's soul or anything. So anyway, we communicated with him. We filmed it as well.
Yeah.
I don't think that's on GPN yet. And he actually he doesn't take souls. He helps people who pass on. So he's just like an overseer of death, or a better termination. So if someone dies, he will oversee their spirit going to where they've got to go. So he just helps them on the way. But over time, it's been turned around to being this entity that comes for people's souls. But he doesn't.
See, that's fascinating for me because I don't really know much about that side of it, and like for me, listening to that, this is amazing.
It was fascinating. It was fascinating.
Crazy.
And he says he was communicating with Jane and through Jane and saying he doesn't come to take souls. He comes to help souls progress.
Wow. To help them progress to the next level, yeah.
Yeah, but like the demons, he's got this bad rap.
Yes.
You don't mess with death, or was death an actual thing? We didn't know. For example, we did one demon connections, and people saying, "Will you ever do Zozo?" Yeah. And we were thinking, "Oh no, there's no such thing as Zozo." So anyway, people kept saying, will you do Zozo? So we did Zozo one night, and absolutely nothing happened, because there's no such demon, Zozo.
That's the Ouija board demon.
Exactly. Absolutely nothing. I've never been in a less active room in my life, and that was in the seance room. There was absolutely nothing there.
Wow. So is there any demons that you have contacted with that are like, oh, I like this one. We'll do more of this one. Like this demon.
To be honest, the one I'd like to talk to more. Bit of a story.
Right.
We was going to film this one, and it's to do with woodland. So we thought, oh, we'll go down to a local woodland area at night and do it down there because he's into herbs and all this and the woodland.
Okay.
But the day before, for a few days, I was talking about Robin Hood, right? And there was this theory about who Robin was, if he was a real person.
Yeah.
But this turns out that this demon who looks after wood, I can't remember his name, I apologise, but it turns out that he regards himself as Robin Hood. You know, there was a series on TV about Robin Hood, the hooded man, and there's a hooded demon, isn't there? I can't remember the name, who looks after woodlands and everything. So it turns out to me, Robin Hood was a demon.
That's crazy.
But the footage got corrupted, so I do have it, but I can't get it off my phone because I filmed on my phone that night.
Right.
I can't get it off my phone onto Adobe because it just keeps breaking up for some reason. I don't know. So I would like to go and contact him again and learn a bit more because sometimes they say things and you think, what is that for real? You know, it makes us question ourselves.
But you can only work with what you're given. You can only work with it, can't you? You can't do nothing else.
Yeah, but you know, Robin Hood. The theory was he lived in the forest, Sherwood Forest, and all this, and he looked after the trees and all this, and that's what this demon did. He looked after the woodlands.
Wow.
So was Robin Hood an actual demon? And so Robin Hood wasn't the belief in Robin Hood. He wasn't a bad guy, and like we don't believe demons are bad entities.
No, I know a lot of people, especially Rich from West London. He's into the occult and he does rituals sometimes when we go out to specific locations anyway. And he doesn't think anything like they're not all bad, and like you're like pretty much basically what you're saying. It's just they get given this like stereotype, and it's just a difference of opinion from the Almighty, and that's all it is. Who's to say they are evil? You know.
That's right. And from our experience, the demon connections, they're not evil.
No.
Not at all. No, even Lucifer or Satan or whatever, we've had him in the sound stream, and he's been having a chat with us.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do they give you names? Do they tell Jane who they are? Like, I'm such and such? Or do you specifically try and communicate with them first?
Jane will invite a specific demon. You know, we'll have their sigil there on the table, and Jane will research. For example, if they liked herbs and things, we'll have herbs on the table to encourage them to come. And they so far, touch wood, they have always come. One came, and he says, I've only come because you invited me, but I want to go. But he communicated for about half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then it was as if, Jane says, it's as if he says, that's it, I've had enough now, I'm going.
Is that enough of the living?
Yeah, and he went. But he only come because Jane invited him.
That's crazy. That's amazing.
So you know, and Jane says there's another demon standing at the door. When we were trying to talk to this one who was a bit impatient, it's as if his mate had come and they were going down the pub, and they think, "Come on,
hurry up!" Yeah,
honestly, that's how it felt, you know. And the things were going off, the REM pod was going off, and all this. When we asked him to, and it was as if, okay, I'm fed up now. I'm going now. And it's crazy.
See, if they were evil, they would think, right, you've brought me here. You're going to find out my power, wouldn't you? You think they would try and do something. They'd say, another question. All right, then. Come on, then. Right, can I go now? I'm busy, you know.
Yeah, it's like I say, it felt, in that room, it felt like when this other demon came in, It's as if, come on, I want to go down the pub. You know, when your mates talking to somebody, like your mate came round now and said, come on,
Yeah.
we're going down the pub.
Yeah.
That's honestly, that's how it felt. And once he went, that was it. There was absolutely, because what we find is when we're doing our work, for example, the demons,
Yeah.
the spirits, the centre stay away. You know, it's as if they thinking, I believe they think, well, it's not our time now. That they're not come to talk to us; they come to talk to somebody else. And it's like
Could be.
when we do seances, and our seances tend to be about the people around the table, and that tends to be the only spirits that come.
It's good that they can separate themselves into different areas at different times, knowing
Yeah,
your intentions.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's as if they've got respect, thinking they're not come to, you know, when we do our investigation of the centre, they will communicate with us.
Yeah.
But when when we're calling for a specific entity, they don't want to talk to us tonight, guys. So we'll just stay upstairs. And
Haughty
I
standards.
find, yeah, yeah, front. I do think that's fascinating as well. You know, I've got Jane and I got other plans for next year that are gonna be really, really interesting as well.
Ooh. Look, stay tuned for 2025, people.
Seriously, we've got this idea in particular. It's going to be. I've never seen anything like it before. I know no one's done the Demon Connection before, but this is something else. Because this, like I said at the start of the show, I get bored very easy, so I need new things to come in to keep my interest going.
Yes. There's Justin said you were very welcoming at Parameet.
Thank you.
So, staying with your building,
Yeah.
what is the best thing that's ever happened with one of the items, the objects in the building that you've witnessed or have been told about?
And
Is there something that comes to mind?
yeah, always. Long time ago now, many years ago, in the small room we call the Chamber of Fear, there's a big mirror. It was that big and heavy, got a wooden frame around it as well.
Yeah.
And it actually came from Jane's house, so there's nothing attached to it. There's nothing special about this mirror, big mirror. But it was that big. It took two of us to carry it up the stairs and put it in. That's how big it was. It took me and Ant to take it in. And because the wall is a false wall, I just leant it against the wall.
Right.
Right. And we caught it on camera. Fortunately, I used to have a CCTV camera in there. And we caught it on camera being lifted up, pushed forward and smashing on the seat that's in there.
Wow.
And I was in the tea room at the time and I heard it and I thought, blimey, that's a bomb going off. It was that loud. And we got it all on camera, so that's fantastic. And no one was near it. No, we tried to recreate it.
Yeah.
And it was smashed to pieces. I know it took Amy 8 months to piece, and because we wanted to piece it back together again. It took her 8 months to piece it back together, and we had glass left over.
Okay.
So I had no idea where that glass came from. But she pieced it all back together again. It took her 8 months.
Is that the mirror that's in that little side room opposite all the African artifacts? Yeah, I spent time in there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that is a really good thing that I experienced. But also, there's a photograph of an entity coming out the attic door that someone took.
I've seen that.
That's
yes.
a real cool. It's
Was
an interesting photo.
Anita took that, didn't she?
Yes,
Anita Murphy.
Yeah, there was only two people in the occult area at the time. Viv, who's doing the scrying, her face is completely changed. And then just to the side of the attic door, it looks like there's a black shape there. There's nothing there. And plus, you got this. All I can say is it's some sort of creature.
It looks like Predator, some sort of alien coming out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it on Facebook. Crazy.
Clear as day photo. We can't explain it.
That's
it is.
one of a kind.
Yeah.
It's Holy Grail picture, that one.
That is, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're two of the ones that stick in my memory.
So do you think that you will outgrow your museum? Will it change? Will you change location? Would you get a bigger building? Do you think you'll like get more items if possible?
I don't know about a bigger building. We seem to go on fairly quiet with paranormal teams coming in now, to be honest, and booking for
Okay.
next year. I don't know why. Obviously,
No.
I need the teams to come in to fund the building.
Mm.
So if there's any paranormal teams watching that want to come next year, contact me and book in. Um, I don't know. I do fancy selling off some of the dolls. To be honest, I did this.
I'll have some.
Um, but I don't know, to be honest.
No. But then again, why would you? I know they say that it's not the items; it's sometimes the location, the building, the people in the building that make it haunted. But if you're getting such great evidence, why would you move building? I suppose, wouldn't you?
It wouldn't be the same if we moved
No,
building. It wouldn't be the same. And if we changed personnel, it wouldn't be the same.
no.
I know I change things, but I don't change them dramatically. I don't know. I actually retire a year in January, so I don't know what I've not decided what I'm doing then. Um, I enjoy doing the work that we do, so I
Yeah.
definitely will carry on with that. I enjoy GPN and parameets. So beyond that, I'm not sure yet.
So will the build? I take it the building will stay open, or
Possibly.
oh, oh. So it might disappear then. It might. Okay.
I've not decided what's happening yet.
Neil, you can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it. It's an awesome place. Oh wow! Oh, you've shocked me there.
I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I really don't know.
All the spirits will miss you.
They'll probably all come down my house.
I
Won't
was gonna say they'll probably turn up at your house. Oh, you have to go live in the shed.
they? No, we don't. I'm decided what we're going to do yet. We'll see. Time will tell.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
But we definitely will carry on with our work.
Yes, yeah, definitely. So, are there any stories in the paranormal within like haunted locations or haunted story that you think are possibly fake, or you think, nah, that's not real? Like famous cases, maybe.
Well, the obvious one comes to mind is the Country House in America. I think that's blown out of all proportion.
That's gone crazy now, isn't it?
Is it closed now or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
closed for
never
business
watched it.
because she's a
Oh,
bit of a nut job.
she's a bit lunatic, isn't she?
Yeah.
I think some locations are overhyped. Personally, some really well-known locations are really overhyped. No, I prefer to go to locations without the hype. To be honest.
Mm.
It's like watching a movie at the cinema, isn't it? You know, if the film's been hyped up so much, even if it's a good film, I'm disappointed because it's not as good as the hype says.
Yes. Yeah.
For example, I'll name one. For example, 30 East Drive. I've been twice and fell asleep twice. To me, I'm not saying it's not haunted. It probably is haunted, but then I think most houses are haunted.
Mm.
You know, I've done Ouija sessions in my house, and we've as spirit coming through during the lockdown. So I think every house has got spirits anyway.
Yeah. Well, surrounding East Drive was like there's a battle, wasn't there?
Yeah,
Back in the day.
I
So
think it's more to do with the land than the house.
Yes, I think so.
I don't know, but I've been twice, like I said. That I think I don't think you can have an opinion on a location until you've actually been two or three times. So I've never been National Galleries of Justice, so I can't have an opinion on that. For example,
No.
I've I've been to the Ancient Ram Inn, so I can have an opinion. I've been to the 30th Drive. I can have an opinion. For me, they didn't live up to the hype. But then I've had friends go and they had fantastic nights there. So, but then
Exactly. I mean,
it could have been my energy that's wrong for the place.
it could have been your energy on that day
Yeah,
that it just wasn't. The spirits are like, "Ugh, we're not going to deal with him today."
yeah.
You know.
You know, I could have gone with the wrong mindset, thinking, "Oh, it's not going to be as good as it is," and then
No.
why should they talk to me?
Exactly. I mean, they're supposed to be spirits of people that used to be alive. You know, the souls,
Yeah,
the energy, the beings. You
yeah.
know,
So
maybe they're having an off day.
yeah, so
You know,
I just didn't experience anything there.
no. I've been 5 times and not really had nothing major. One of the not worst locations, but like you say, it's so overhyped. You go there with that expectation,
Yeah,
and I've had little bits and bobs there. You know that if I'd had another location that wasn't overhyped, you
yeah,
might think, "Oh, that's a good place."
yeah. That's
But
right.
but unfortunately, people, social media, they hype it up so much. The TV shows that go there,
Yeah,
if they just left it as a normal house, it's
yeah,
haunted, whatever, you'd be like, "Oh, that's some good stuff there. That's all right.
yeah,
I enjoyed that. I'll go again."
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like made its own downfall, really.
Oh yeah, but everybody wants to go there, don't they? Which is
Yes.
understandable because it's a famous location. You know, I don't think my centre's as nowhere near as famous as that.
But this,
But
I've had
I
lots
do.
more activity at your place than at East Drive.
Yeah, I think with my place, if you go with the right attitude, you will get something. When teams come into the centre now and we meet them in the tea room, and then they go off and investigate, I can say to Amy, they're not going to get anything tonight because they've just got the wrong attitude.
Mm.
Whether they think they know it all,
Yeah.
or some teams do think they know it all.
Yeah.
And to me, it's as if the spirits of the building know what we're thinking, so they think, Neil don't like them, so we're not going to do it tonight. I might sound a bit big-headed or something, but it's
You never
not. It's
know.
just it's honestly, I can tell if the team's not going to get anything.
But then again, some people don't believe in haunted objects, haunted dolls,
No,
etc. I'm obsessed with that. I love all that stuff. So for me, working with these objects, that's awesome for me. So I'm like proper hyped to be right. Let's
yeah,
go. Some people
yeah,
are like, "Ugh, haunted doll, yeah, right, whatever." And it's
yeah,
like, why are you going to a place that's full of haunted
exactly,
objects? It's not like
exactly.
it's an old prison or something or a castle and people have died and they've had wars, etc.
That's
It's
right.
not this. Like you say, you've got to have the right mindset, be open minded,
Yeah, definitely.
and see what happens.
Yeah, that does honestly. People's attitude or their personalities does make hell of a difference at the centre.
Hmm.
We've noticed that over the years.
So, what's your favourite place that you've been to and to investigate over the years,
Um, apart from
apart
my
from your
sense,
own? Yeah,
apart from my own,
yeah,
I like Dudley Castle. I think Dudley Castle is an amazing location.
yeah.
I like Falstaff Museum in
Yes,
Stratford.
yeah.
But then Jane and I went a few months ago now with Haunted Happenings. We went as guests, and
Hmm.
Hazel said we can just go off on our own, which was great. And we got absolutely nothing that night. We left. We were there about 3 hours, then we left. Because we got absolutely nothing. But then I'm taking some guests to Falstaff twice next year.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we're going to have good nights. So I like Falstaff. That's a cool building. I think Dudley Castle is my favourite of all time.
Yeah.
I've had
Why is
some
that?
great.
Is it the activity, the history, the location
Yeah,
itself?
I like castles anyway. I think
Mm.
castles are going to have paranormal activity, um, but the level of activity that we've had when I've been there has been amazing. I love the history. The staff are really friendly. I just and it's not too far from me. I don't like travelling too far.
No, there's nothing worse than thinking, right, the investigation's done. It's 2 a.m. and I've got to drive 3.5 hours to get home. It's like, oh my
Yeah, no.
God.
Yeah, no.
About an hour
Well,
is, I love it. It's a good.
we did Edinburgh Vaults many years ago, and
Oh, wow.
I drove all the way up there, did the investigation, then I drove back that same night. I think it was a 6-hour drive to get there, 6-hour drive back, and 5-hour investigation.
Wow.
But it's a cool location.
It is, yeah, definitely.
But we should have stayed over, but I was just too tight to pay for the hotel room.
It's all money end of the day. Petrol ain't cheap.
No, it's not.
So we've got a question here from
Okay.
probably your daughter, I believe. How did
My
you get
daughter?
into haunted items?
Who's my daughter?
On the screen?
Amy.
Yeah.
She's not my daughter.
Is she not your daughter?
No, she's not.
It says dad.
I'm going to sack her again.
How did you get into haunted items, Dad? There you go.
Okay, I'll put it clear now once and for all. Amy is not my daughter.
I
She
always
just
thought
thought-
she was.
No, everyone does because she puts on this innocent voice.
I'm
No,
so
she's not.
sorry.
She does my head in, I'll tell you.
Oh, wow.
She calls me Pops because I'm old.
Oh,
And everyone
okay.
thinks, and then she'll say, "You always say I'm not your daughter. I don't know why. Are you embarrassed by?" And she's so convincing. Anyway, what we've had this.
Oh, my God.
We've said this before, haven't we? And she knows. She knows this one.
Ah, she's on the wind up.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, I fell for that, didn't I? Well done. So you're... Forget that one.
She's been sacked that many times. But then I'm thinking, oh, I can have a night off if she's up there.
Oh, fair enough. So is your museum open to the public, like to come and visit in the daytime?
Normally it's open Saturdays, unless
Okay.
we're busy doing something else. But it's normally Saturdays. That's all.
Okay. You tell everyone that. I'm sure you're ashamed of me.
Hey,
Oh, that's what she's just written. That's,
she's a nightmare.
oh, that's brilliant. I love it.
And she puts
Oh.
on this nice posh teacher's voice.
So, what sort of things do you sell at the museum? I know you have like a shop there, don't you? In the cabinets
Yeah,
and that.
yeah,
I thought.
We have a little sort of shop. Amy
Yeah.
sells resin stuff, and we sell sort of gothic-y or paranormal related stuff like skulls and Ouija bags, and we sell Ouija boards. Most of it is going to go onto our merchandise page on the website
Yeah.
over the coming months as well. So
Okay. Yeah, I bought a few things in there before,
yeah,
and it's like, oh, it's some goodies. There's always, because most haunted locations you can't buy nothing, you know. But when I first went to yours, it's like, oh, there's a shop, right? You know, oh, I'll
And-
buy that. That looks cool. I'll have one of them.
yeah. There will be in the coming months there will be T-shirts for sale in there as well.
Yeah, you heard it here first. So if anyone watching has got any questions for Neil before we finish, just send them in and we will read them out. But I've got a couple of questions left myself for you, Neil.
Okay.
So, bucket list location. You go in there tomorrow. Doesn't matter where it is in the world. You can spend as long as you want there. Where are you going?
I would like to go Alcatraz, obviously. I'd like to go that island of the dolls as well because I think that's
That's where I want to go. Obviously,
That-
haunted items. Yeah.
that looks quite interesting. But and there's an island in Italy, isn't there? I can't remember what it's called. I think
Oh, Pavelia.
I think
Yeah,
there's
that's been-
actually in there.
Yeah, it's been closed off. You're not allowed to go there. Yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah. Well, that's what it said in Ghost Adventures. I mean, I don't know.
Oh, right.
It could just be his story.
Yeah, I'd like to go to that island of the dolls, I must admit, and Alcatraz because of the history.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Would you ever like to go to Zach's museum in Vegas just to have a look?
Yeah.
Does other haunted museums interest you?
Well, I'm actually banned from one in England, so I won't mention that one. Um, but I
Oh
would like to
wow.
go. I would like to go to Zach's museum just to see.
Yeah.
Again, I want to. I'd like to go. I'd like to take Jane. I mean, Jane. We've talked about it. We would like to go into Zach's museum, um, just so Jane can see what she's actually picking up. And but you're not allowed to take photos and all sorts in Zach's museum. I don't see the point in that. It's
No, no pictures, no video, apart from at the entrance, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, I don't see the point in that.
No, because if you can see it on social media, I know they can say, "Oh, yeah, but why would you want to come to experience it?" Obviously, just
Yeah,
because you can see it, you know.
we want to go and see what if Jane is picking anything up. You know Jane now,
Yeah,
Mickey. If Jane says there's nothing here, to me there's nothing there. That's good enough for me.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I would like to go to Zach's museum. I'd like to go John Zaffis's museum as well because that's supposed to be more occultist type of stuff.
Go to see Annabelle, the Warrens Museum. Yeah,
Yeah, because I don't personally, I don't think there's going to be a lot there.
no, you've got lots of
But
famous artifacts in there, but are they only famous because they wrote about them in their
exactly,
books, you know, or
exactly.
spoke about them on shows? So,
Yeah,
but then again, you can only go on what you're told. So you got to go there and experience it for yourself.
yeah.
You know.
All I'll say is watch this space for a new series coming on Ghost Planet Network next year about different locations and what we're going to try in different locations.
Fair enough.
Who's that?
Ah,
Amy.
yeah. You can sack me this weekend. I'm going to George Jarvis.
She's sacked.
Live on the show.
It must be about the 100th time she's been sacked.
Oh, it's brilliant. I love it. So my final question for you, Neil,
Okay.
if you could get rid of one thing in the paranormal forever, what would it be?
Oh, there's a few things out. I think the worst thing is ego.
Yeah.
I ego and drama. I hate both equally.
Yes.
I don't understand why there's so much drama in the paranormal. I don't understand it at all. Unfortunately, in the past, not so much now. In the past, I have been dragged into drama. Not for my own doing. I had, but I just it does me head in. As for
Yeah.
egos, there's no experts because it's not a proven field anyway. So how can you be an expert if it's not real?
Exactly. It's not proven anyway. Yeah.
I don't get it. That's another reason why I choose the guest speakers that I choose for Parameet. You won't come to Parameet and have a speaker with a huge ego because they just won't be there.
No.
I did have a guy when we first started Parameet begging me to be a guest speaker, and I've always said no because he's got an ego, and I can't be doing with it because that will destroy everything that Parameet stands for.
There's a few of them that I know.
Yeah, yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
When we did GPN Awards last year, I got some criticism for it, but hey,
Why?
because one location was nominated and I hadn't got their permission to say it. And
Oh.
I said, well, I didn't nominate it. Somebody else nominated it. Well, you
You
have to
should
have
be
my permission.
should be
Please.
thankful that someone's talking about your building. I suppose.
I just said, please yourself, mate.
Ah.
You're out there now, so you're not going to be involved in it.
Oh well.
But I ain't
It's
bothered.
their loss.
That's you know, I like Ghost Planet Network is not. I'm not big headed. I haven't got an ego. Please don't think I've got an ego. The reason I like GPN so much is because I don't have egos involved in it, and I have control of who goes on it. If I don't think they're good for the paranormal, I won't put them on there. So
There's nothing wrong with that.
No,
That's how it should be.
I don't think so. And then GPN awards, if people nominate them, most of the categories are involved in Ghost Planet Network anyway.
Yeah.
But this year I had a couple not involved in the GPN, but they won't be in it next year, so I'll have different categories next year.
That's fair enough.
Which I'll be announcing over Christmas.
Well, you're organising it, so it's up to you.
Yeah, Ghost Planet Network is a channel that I would watch, and that's the important thing to me.
That's it. Can't say nothing else to that. So, Neil, thank you so much for joining me this evening. It's been awesome.
You're welcome.
If you could just let everybody know how to contact you, the museum, GPN, etc., on socials, that'd be brilliant.
Okay, I'm on Facebook, Neil Packer or Haunted Antique Centre, or if you want to email me, it's Neil. It's all lowercase. It's neil.haprc@gmail.com. We got a different website for the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. We got a website for the Ghost Planet Network, and we've got another website for Parameet World as well. So just search Parameet World or Ghost Planet Network online, and it's all .com. You can find me there, or just email or message me on Facebook.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you so much, Neil.
You're welcome. Nice chatting to you, Mickey.
And you, mate. I'll see you very soon.
Thanks. See you then. See you all.
See you later, mate. Bye-bye. So there we are, guys. What an amazing show. Very informative. I actually learned a lot today, especially about demons. I mean, it's a subject that, you watch on the telly and the films, but you never really know the actual ins and outs. And, Neil taught me something today, and I'm very appreciative of that. So, like Neil said, go visit the museum. Go get a Roku box and subscribe to the GPN, Ghost Planet Network. Go to the museum. Go book a night at the museum, and you will not be disappointed. Believe me, I will be back at some point this year or next year, and such an amazing place. So active. So if you want activity, get in contact with Neil. And so guys, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the Ghostoul Podcast if you enjoyed this show. I've had lots of awesome guests. Neil is another one added to the list. Subscribe to the Instagram page, and I'll see you next week. Next week's guest actually is another live, and we have Gary Fields on. So join us next Tuesday, and I'll see you next week for another awesome guest. See you later.